welcome to the New Indian Express talk show, Mr. Vasu. And it's fascinating that we're having an international competition here on the beaches of Mahabalipuram or Mahabalipuram, as we say. So, can you describe the journey, like, so, when you started the small surfing team, Kovalam, and to this international league, and as a Surfing Federation of India president, that journey, if you can explain to us.
Sure. So I've always been into water sports. I mostly a windsurfer. I started windsurfing when I was 13. Also competed 4-5 years in Goa and Bombay and all that. So over the years, spent a lot of time, and surfing actually came much later, about 12-13 years ago. So I got into it more as a social project, a CSR project in Kovalam. So we adopted a few of the local fishermen who were doing a little bit of surfing, and just to give them a different means to earn something rather than fishing, which is tough. And that kind of grew over the years, and today there are 12 surf schools in Kovalam, and all of them started with us and moved on. So the idea was to create Kovalam like a real surf mecca, and surf tourism is something that will come after that. So it's been a long journey, but the last 2 years I was roped into the Surfing Federation of India, and I've been heading it as the president. So we've held events since 2013 as an entity, SurfTurf, but now we're looking at, as I'm in the federation, we're looking at it more as a promoting athletes and the actual sport. The interest, of course, has come after Olympics. So in India, otherwise, to get sponsors, you know how difficult it is. Other than being in cricket, it gets very difficult. So year on year, we've been able to. Initially, it was bullying a few friends to sponsor, but actually, the last 2 years, we've had a few people like Java, of course, our own group companies, CTK, and all have been pitching in. So government today is keen because it's in the Olympics since 2020. So it's a big step now that Tamil Nadu government through SDAT actually stepped in to sponsor the first ever World Surfing League in India. So it is a big thing. I don't think people realize how big it is. And I'm happy we managed 11 countries to come in for this event, around 60 participants. So I'm very happy.
So it started as a community development program, something like that?
Yeah, it was purely a social CSR project from the company. I mean, of course, my family has done many things in education and hospitals and things. So I wanted to do something that meant to me, and this was like a contribution that I could do. So we've, I've sent surfers all over the world now. Also stand-up paddle, which comes under SFI. So I've sent one particular guy, Shaker from Kovalam, who's been for 4 stand-up paddle world games. The surfers, the next batch, youngsters starting from 14 to 21, they've been for the world games this year in El Salvador. They've been for the Asian Surfing Championship in Maldives. So this year has been a very, for me, I wanted to create that impact this year. Just bringing India on the surfing map.
Yeah, but like you said, in the last 2 years, it's expanded and developed it further. SFI was actually a non-entity 2-3 years ago. So after it became part of the Olympic program and in Tokyo. So now it is grown. So from Kovalam to SFI, how much study? Because if I'm not mistaken, getting affiliation also was quite difficult, and then asking the government for funds also has been quite difficult. Especially I'm talking about the sports teams.
Correct.
So have you been recognized, and
So
how, and IOA also? What is your relationship with IOA?
Yeah. So yes, it's been a struggle, and before that, I mean, running any association or federation, you need funds end of the day, otherwise you can't do anything. And yes, like what we've seen in India, there is a bit of government support in all the sports, but the private sponsors are what actually drives it. I mean, we've seen that. So, so from my side, I took it on as an initiative to see, how we can grow it. So now finally, I mean, we are being recognized by the government ministry. Tamil Nadu one has been registered and has been recognized by SDAT. So we are in the process of now forming more state associations. So they have given us a waiver of 10 states instead of the 22 or 24. So the minister was kind enough, Anurag Thakur, in saying that we'll give you, 10 states if you can manage. We are happy. So that process is ongoing. So once that is done, which I'm hopeful in the next few months, then we get the Olympic recognition as well. So the excitement is actually after the sport got recognized by the Olympic.
Yeah, because I think we had a discussion earlier also.
No, absolutely.
So when was this? Last year? This year?
So it's happened all this year. So it's happened all in the last 6 months. So
But your sport is also like say rowing or yachting, specialized sport which needs water bodies, especially ocean or the sea. So that will always be confined to the coastal areas.
yeah, so surfing will be only on the coast, right? And there are many points that are still undiscovered. Like Tamil Nadu, I think we took the lead because I was here and I had a good team to support me here, so we drove it more. But Mahabalipuram has always been a fantastic surf point. Anybody in the world, if you ask, they say Mahabalipuram is a good point. Kovalam was developed because we started doing things there. And if you go further down towards Pondicherry, Pondicherry has a few points. Actually, if you go to the tip with Kanyakumari, there are surf points. Andhra Pradesh has, Orissa has. So we are, as a federation, we are now trying to encourage other bodies, surf schools and all that to have more events, because at the end of the day, if we want to get surfers on the world level, they need more exposure. So one thing we've done this year, where you've seen the growth of the athletes, they've really stepped up the last year and a half, is because we sent them to Sri Lanka and Maldives to train. And you're asking me a little earlier about the waves. Yes, our waves are small, they are messy at times, but we do get a few months where we get some phenomenal waves, which is 4 to 8 feet. We do get it in Mahal. But yes, not as consistent as it should be. But places like Sri Lanka and Maldives, though they are reef breaks and beach breaks, they're different. Shallow reefs, which you have to be a professional, but you get 10 feet, 12 feet, I mean, they're massive. So our boys need to get out more. So that's what we are working on, getting the sponsorship. And I'm confident that Tamil Nadu will set the lead. They have some schemes going to hire coaches. There is an incentive to be an athlete as a surfer. So all this is in the pipeline. So
what about the inland states if they want to form a body?
yeah,
Maybe
so that is where stand-up paddle comes in, right? So stand-up paddling is, again, I mean, it's a longer surfboard where you have races. So that is again a very big sport in Europe and Australia. It's massive, but in India it's more a leisure thing, just paddling around.
Is it part of the Olympics?
2028, they are looking at the Olympics.
So we have enough time.
We have enough time. So that can be done anywhere in inland, right? Any dam, any clean water body, basically. So we are working on bringing, hopefully next year, a stand-up paddle event, a world thing, which will attract around 300 athletes. That will be a fantastic event. So we have started talks with a few governments to see who would like to bring it. Because what they don't realize is this particular sport, it's a very cool sport. Everybody likes to walk around with a surfboard and you're on the beach and all that. It attracts a lot of tourism. So there's really a big surf tourism that can follow, and it will benefit everything. And that's how Mahab's already being a tourist destination, and this amazing epic temple we have as a backdrop. It will add to the economy, and that's how we should look at it.
And one good thing about surfing is that it's carbon neutral.
Absolutely carbon neutral. It is also not, though the boats, as you get better, can get more expensive.
But those are carbon fiber.
It's all carbon, epoxy, there are different things. But it is still something that is accessible to anybody. Once you have the boat, you just have to walk in on a good day and learn surfing.
So, how do you think the sport attracts more and more? Because you need the grassroots, you need mass support our mass participation as well.
Yeah.
Not only like mass participation with cricket, but at least the youth should come and take it up as a sport.
Yeah.
So how do you?
So we've started. I mean, initially it was mostly the fishermen who naturally adapted to the ocean, and they were the fastest ones there. But now we're getting a lot of people from the cities, Chennai and Bangalore and Bombay City, who we're trying to push more kids. So we need to run more kids programs, right? Catch them at 10, 12 and get that bug into them. So then the fear goes and it's easier to kind of grow them. So till now we've just gone with whatever talent we have to form. So one example is actually Japan. If you see at the event today, there's a big Japanese team that has come. But in 7 years, before that they were not known as a surfing nation. But they focused on their Olympics first, and now they are really one of the top surfers, both in men's and women's. And they proved it here also. They are all.
7 years is what we.
I'd say a good 5-year window. So I am very confident that in the next 3 years we'll see a big jump. So for the next Olympics as such, I feel we have a good. We have talent. We need to groom them. We have a couple of kids who are 14, so they will hit by 17, 18, and probably peak by then. So we are really focusing on the kids now. So I'm hopeful. And of course there are like WSL, World Surfing League. It's all over the world. So they need to take it step by step. First, probably get into the Asian one, and then the next one, which is includes Australia, and then move on. So it takes time. Surfing is new in India. It is a infant sport. So
it is a sport that attracts youth.
Absolutely.
That's part of the
Absolutely.
International Olympic Committee's program. So in that way, you need to attract more, youngsters and all.
Yeah.
So how do you plan to expand, or do you
So-
have any coaches program to have more coaches?
Yeah. So for the first time this year, we hired a South African coach actually, Pat Reno, and we used him for the Indian team that we selected. And he's the one who accompanied them to the World Games in El Salvador. And they spent 3 to 4 months in Sri Lanka and Maldives training. So we could see immediately that there's a big improvement in them. So we are also trying to encourage more local coaches. So we have a very good coach in Pondicherry, Oroville, called Samai. He runs his own surf school. He's again used to be one of the good surfers here. So we are trying to encourage that, because what we want to see is two kind of levels of coaches. One who kind of grooms them to a level, and then we may need one of the ex-pros coming in and all that. So this is the focus this year. We really need to get in. Of course, everything needs funds at the end of the day. But I'm hopeful with what we have achieved today. I mean, I don't think the Indian surfers also realize what a big deal this is.
Just 10 years ago when I Kovalam,
You've seen it
the
all.
club was not there, I guess.
Yeah, we had just started in the village, and then 5 years later we built this. So
And then, where do we stand now as players? Talking about Indian players, where are we compared to the top
So I'd start with Asia. So when we went for the Asian surfing thing in the Maldives, India ended up ranking 3rd with a bronze, which I was amazed about as a team. But as an individual, we are still, I would say, we are probably in Asia. We're probably on the top 10. I mean, that's where we were as individual surfers. I can see that changing very quickly in a year. I'm that confident with how I've seen the boys grow. Well, talking about women surfers, it's been very difficult to get more women to compete. So that is something on the agenda, and we are driving it through all the surf schools and clubs. We are saying, you are the ones on the local. We have such a vast country, a coastline. You guys have to push. Also, it's not only from SFI's point of view, but when we see talent, we are happy to look at it and find a way to fund them and coach them. So there are some young girls. There's one from Mahabs called Kamali, who's again 14 and really doing well. So you will see a big change in her in the next 1 or 2 years. Yeah.
So by 2020 Olympics, will you find someone in the team?
Fingers
Olympics.
crossed, and I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that we'll get there. It's a big step because it's Asia gets just 2 slots. Um, but again, going by examples of how other countries have done it in a short window, I think this is the time. I feel all the cards are all right. We're ticking all the boxes. Government is encouraging us. So now we need a little
Even
more.
Tamil Nadu government.
Yes, absolutely. Now we need a little more support from the center, and I think we're on the way. Sponsors are coming in. I think they're seeing the value of it, so they're looking at it as a lifestyle.
So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so
And all
much.
the best for the future. And we hope to see Indian players by 2020.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we're on our way.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.